So you've made the decision to move to Thailand. In this video, I'm going to go into great detail about what to expect upon your arrival in Bangkok. So let's dive right into it. Hey everybody, it's Jim with Passport to Thailand. Welcome back to the channel. Hey, this is video number 2 in our 3-part series on 2025 Relocation Guide, Destination Thailand. So in this video, I'm going to go into detail upon what you could expect upon your arrival in Suvarnabhumi International Airport in downtown Bangkok. So there's a whole list of items I'm going to go through. So let's start with number 1. Okay, so it sounds pretty common, pretty regular, but your passport. Well, there's a couple things about your passport that are very important. And this is under the assumption you're coming to Thailand to stay long term. Now, number 1, your passport has to be valid. It has to be valid with an extra 6 months before it expires. And you're also going to need a couple extra pages available for stamps. Okay, so make sure you take a look at your passport before you leave your home country. Make sure it's valid for at least 6 months and you've got enough room for different stamps that you're going to need as you enter the country. Let's go into number 2. So the next item is a visa. Now, depending on where you live in the world, you might be required to get a visa prior to entering the Kingdom of Thailand. And you can typically get that online. Contact your local airport or your local carrier, or whatever airline you're going to fly in on, and just ask them over the phone, do I need a visa? That's one way of finding out. And they can walk you through that process. Also, upon your arrival into Thailand, you're going to need an arrival card to fill out. It'll have basic information, and you'll either get that on the airplane or right off the airplane. The airport staff will give that to you. Something to think about, and this is a little controversial, but it happened to me, so I think I want to share that with you as a possibility. Even though you're coming to Thailand to stay long term with no really determination on when you're going to leave or if you're ever going to leave, they still want to see an exit flight out of the country. Immigration will ask you for that. So the Onward ticket, you can get a cheap flight into a neighboring country, Vietnam, Cambodia, Singapore, Malaysia, examples, Laos, for under $100. I kind of call it the burner flight. So you'll need to get one of those. Sorry, it just says I had to eat mine too. It's a kind of a frustrating thing, but that's just their policy. So make sure you get a burner flight before you get into the country. Also, customs, of course, is going to ask you to fill out a declaration form. Excuse me, they'll want to see what you're bringing into the country. And I'll segue for just a second to travel insurance. Now, if you're going to be here in Thailand long term, it's going to take you a little bit to kind of get your so-called sea legs and figure out how things work here in Thailand and where to get insurance, where to get the best insurance and carriers. So just get a policy for maybe 90 days before you get in country, international insurance, just to cover you. That gives you plenty of time to get settled. Okay, and that's a tip from me. Currency exchanges. If you haven't gotten Thai baht in your home country before coming into the country, when you arrive at the airport, there's currency exchanges in the airport that you can get Thai baht. I highly recommend you do that. They might not be the best exchange rate, but hey, at least you're able to get Thai baht before you leave the airport and continue on your journey, which you'll need for all sorts of things, obviously leaving the airport. Also, this is a tip that I want for those that are going to be here long term. There is a app that Thais use and Thai businesses use to communicate and do business in country and all throughout Southeast Asia. And the app is called Line, L-I-N-E, and I'll put it up here on the screen for you to take a look at. I highly recommend that you download the app in your home country and start to use it and start to understand how it works, because when you get here in country and you're going to start doing things, meeting people, meeting taxi drivers that maybe you're going to use on a regular basis, or even you're booking hotels, they're going to send and communicate with you through the Line app, and you can make payments through the Line app. They're going to send you QR codes for payment where you'll get your receipts. So make sure you do that before you get into the country, or at the very least, as your first day in Thailand. Download that app, okay? Also, and we've talked about this a little bit, but your hotel booking information. Make sure you've got that available as you're going through immigration. In my experience, they ask every time. It just is what it is. So make sure you've got it available. You can show them the receipt and the booking confirmation. They're going to ask you for that. Now, here's something that's important too that I didn't think about prior my first trip here, but I think it's really important. And that is making digital copies of all of your documents. And however you want to do that, if you want to scan and upload it all into an email address with an attachment, if you want to take photographs of everything from passport, driver's licenses, insurance cards, et cetera, do that before you leave the country. God forbid you lose these documents. At least you've got them in your phone and you can show someone that can help at least facilitate some things without the physical document. Okay, we're going to talk about transportation at the airport, at Suvarnabhumi International Airport. There's all kinds of options, and they're very, very easy and convenient to use. The airport itself has 2 rail lines. There's a high-speed rail, and then there's one that's it's a direct route right into downtown. That one I think is 15 minutes. Then there's another one that like makes a few stops, and it's like a 30-minute train ride. But you've got 2 options on train. It's got public buses. There's 6 bus routes out of Bangkok, Suvarnabhumi International Airport, and it'll take you to most of the major areas, which in their bus terminal is very easy to find at the airport, very inexpensive. Taxis and vans. I'm just going to tell you up front, taxis are small. So if you come in with a ton of luggage and you want to get a taxi, you're probably not going to be able to fit your luggage in the taxi. I've run into this multiple times. And so you can rent vans. If you're staying at a hotel or resort locally and they send a shuttle for you to pick you up, which most of them will do, there are these big, big vans, and there's tons of room for luggage and stuff. So just something to think about if you're coming here with a ton of luggage and you think you'll just grab a taxi. It's not like in the United States where we got big full-size sedan taxis and stuff like that. They don't have that here in Thailand. But also, go to Suvarnabhumi International Airport's website under transportation, and there's a whole list of options, and you can book in advance if you need a van or a larger vehicle. There are limousine services available too. Again, go to the online website, and you can see those, and if you need to book one of those as well, you can do that. Also, at the airport, you can get SIM cards for your cell phone. So if that's something you're going to do, you want to use your phone here, you need a SIM card, you can get it right there at the airport. They'll help you out. Super quick and easy. Excuse me. One of the things you're going to need, and I'll talk about this a little bit more in video 3, but in Thailand, you're going to need a Thai cell phone number before you can get a long-term visa, before you can open a bank account, so on and so forth. So I'm going to jump ahead a little bit here and talk about what I had planned for number 3, though. And that is, if you arrive in country, let's say it's Monday night you arrive, and you've booked the next morning with your visa agent to get your visa done, and you don't have the cell phone number, they're going to have to reschedule with you. They need that prior to going into immigration. And I'm going to talk a lot more in detail about that on the next video. Okay, well, we've covered a lot of information. This is the nuts and bolts of what to expect on your arrival into Thailand. It's an exciting time. Some of us have traveled 20 plus hours to get here. And by the time you get here, you're spent, right? So this list, I hope, makes your experience getting here in country just a little bit better. And I hope you're enjoying the video series so far. If you could leave a comment or a thumbs up, I really appreciate it. And number 3, we're going to talk about, the video number 3, we're going to talk about long stay in Thailand. And that's going to be an in-depth video as well, covering a lot more topics in detail. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you can, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. I really appreciate it. And as always in Thailand, there's always an option. And I'll see you on the next video. Take care, guys. Happy New Year.